Hello everyone, and welcome to my studio. My name is Rowe. I'm an artist living and working in Norwich. I've worked with hospital rooms on commissions, and I'm really pleased to be able to provide this workshop for you all today. Now the workshop is called Peace Placard. And I think over the last couple of years we've all been making placards and banners, usually using just scrap materials and working on our kitchen table. And that's what I want you to do today. We're making a peace placard, and we've got a little writing exercise to do at the beginning. And what we'll end up with is something really quite simple, but I hope that it will be your own message of peace to the world. Okay, so let's have a little run through the materials that we've got here. And as I say, it's mostly scrap materials. I've got some corrugated card, some ordinary paper here. Doesn't really matter, you could use an old box, anything you've got kicking around. I've got some acrylic paints here, which will work beautifully, but you might have gouache, or you might have felt pens. Again, it really doesn't matter at all. Some brushes, pencil, marker pens. This is quite a fancy little paint pen that you'll see me using in just a second. Glue stick, tape, and those are all pretty straightforward things. So have a little rummage around and see if you can pull these materials together, and you can make it as complicated or as simple as you want it to be. Some examples that I could give you of artists that have used placards and banners in the past. Sister Carita Kent is probably a really good example from the 1960s of using placards and banners and getting people together in a sort of celebratory way. And more recently, Mark Titchener has used billboards and placards in a very interesting way as well. So let's get on with it ourselves. The first thing I want you to do is a little bit of a writing exercise, because we need some content. You need to think about what your messages of hope are. So, exercise number 1. And I know that at this point you might well want to press pause on the film so you can take in what we're doing, because I would want you to spend about 5 or 10 minutes doing this. So the writing exercise is, first of all, to think, what do you love most about the world? We all hopefully have something that we really hold dear to our hearts about the world. But then I want you to think about what threatens that. What do you think threatens the thing that you most love about the world? And then to be positive about it, I want you to think about how we could stop or reverse that threat. So what measures could we take to get rid of this thing that makes our beloved world less exciting and less lovely? So I've done the exercise myself. What do I love most about the world? I was thinking of all sorts of things. I've written down here weather, nature, insects, trees. Those are things that I think are kind of, jump to mind that I really like about the world. And the things that threaten this, I've written down here climate change, that everyone is thinking about climate change. It's autumn right at the moment, and I would hate to lose autumn and the lovely colour of leaves. Insecticides, I think, threaten our built environment, our natural environment, and building roads, I think, probably is also a threat to the natural environment. So I've stuck on don't buy insecticide. I think this is my message of hope. I think that the thing that we can do, we can save energy, we can walk if we can, of course, but I think that an immediate thing that we could do is to not buy insecticide. So that is my message of hope. I'm going to move this away. And my text piece would very simply be, don't buy insecticide. Right, here comes some of the mechanics of writing things out, because essentially this is very easy. You could just have a piece of card and a marker pen and you could make a placard. But don't fall into the trap of writing out your text and realising you don't have enough space to get a long word in like insecticide. So you can see here I've written it out rough. I've worked out how many letters there are, I've worked out what the middle of each of those words would be. And then if you really want to, you can grid up your piece of paper, or you can draw some lines onto your rectangle. I'm going to do this very simply, just fold the paper a couple of times. And I could do that a number of times. And what I've got here to save time to show you is a piece of paper that I've gridded up completely. So I can work out roughly where the centre will be and where my words will be. Right. And if I take another piece of paper, I don't know if you can see that, but I can see the grid coming through the paper. So I've got 3 lines. The first word would be don't, so that's the centre. So I want the N to be near the centre. There's an apostrophe, don't, there's an apostrophe between the N and the T. And then the O will go to the left, and the D will go to the left as well. So we've got don't by insecticide. What you should do, and you'll notice actually that's even a little bit squished up as it is, but what you'll notice there is that you can get the 3 words or however many words you've got onto your piece of paper or onto your piece of card with them being in the middle. Okay, so now on to the business of making this look a bit more exciting. So if I take another piece of paper, you could work straight over your pencil lines, but I'm going to work over the pencil lines with another piece of paper. This is where my fancy little pen comes. You could use a marker pen or a pencil, just a pencil. But this is a nice little paint pen, and I'm going to thicken up the letters using the pencil lines underneath to trace. So. You'd end up with that. Don't buy insecticide. To be honest, I could probably stick that on a stick and that would be my placard, but we're going to go a little bit further than that. We want to make it a little bit more visually interesting, so I'm going to colour this in. So I've got some sort of pinky purple paint here. That's a delicious colour. Until I've painted all of the words that way. Of course, you could paint different colours. Each word could be a different colour. So be thinking as creatively and as flexibly as you possibly can. We could leave it at that, or we could work even further. We could colour the background. So I could go on. I don't have time to finish this, but I do have one that's finished with some embellishments as well. And forgive me, I indulged myself here, and I used a marker pen and drew some imaginary insects. So any of you that are keen entomologists will be looking at those thinking, I don't recognise any insect there at all. But that's my representation of the breadth of the insect world. So I'm going to finish off now by mounting this onto a bit of board. Like I say, I know that you may well have been working directly onto a piece of cardboard, which would be absolutely fine. Then it's more or less ready to go. But I've been working on paper, so I just want to stick this to the backing board. What I've done here actually is just take another piece of scrap paper and roll it up into a tube, which I think will work perfectly well. So just put a little bit of masking tape on that. Okay, and that's ready to go out into the street or onto a march, so that we can just make the world aware of the fact that we need an insect population. And what I would invite you to do is to put these somewhere in your garden or in your bedroom or in your kitchen or wherever you would like, and take a photograph of yourself with these. And I believe that they can be uploaded to the hospital room's website. That would be great. I'd love to see some of the results. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that speedy workshop. I hope you have great fun making your own peace placards. It's been lovely meeting you, or I'm imagining meeting you, and I wish you well, and I wish you a creative future.